So we're going to go back to geometry last year, okay? This class is called Algebra 2 with Trig. It's actually called Advanced Algebra 2 with Trig, but that's a mouthful, so I don't use the advanced part a lot, okay? Plus, if I abbreviated that, that would be like A2T, and that just, AA has other connotations. So A2T is where we go. Because my daughter was upset because one of her friends at the Western Center, it's called Advanced. She's like, I'm in Advanced Algebra 2 with Trig. I'm like, so are you. It's all the same. So, all right. We've got, we're going to talk about sine, cosine, and tangent. You did this in geometry last year, okay? I don't need to spend an entire day going over this with you, okay? You know what it is. We're going to add a little bit to it when we get to our trig unit, okay? But we're just going to go over the basics. And you guys, this stuff is on the SBAC. It's on the ICA. So those of you that are juniors, you're going to see this, okay? And it's really the simple part of this that you're going to see, okay, which is really nice, okay? So first of all, we're going to label this triangle, okay? Now, one difference that we're probably going to have in this class versus what you did in geometry is we're going to use a Greek letter for the angle name, okay? So this is what the Greek letter looks like. That Greek letter is called theta, okay? And usually I use it for my reference angle. Remember, the reference angle is just the one that I'm going to put in my sine, my cosine, or my tangent. Okay. All right. So now that I've got that labeled, okay, I know across from my right angle, it has a name. That part of the triangle has a name. It's called the hypotenuse. Okay. I will typically abbreviate it HYP. Sometimes I'll just abbreviate it H. Okay, because I'm lazy. All right, across from the reference angle is called the opposite leg. Again, I will usually abbreviate it OPP. Okay. All right, and then across from the other angle, or the one next to the reference angle, is called the adjacent leg. Adjacent means next to. My classroom is adjacent to Mrs. Hanby's classroom. It's next to it, okay? All right, so each of these things is a ratio of the sides of the triangle. And remember, we say that's sine, cosine, and tangent, not sin, cos, and tan, okay? They're abbreviations, all right? We don't sin in math, all right? So sine is the opposite. Notice this is making the line for you over the hypotenuse. Okay. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. This should be really familiar stuff. Okay. All right. We're making this really easy for the week before break. Wait till you see how easy this is going to be today. Okay, for the skills check this week. Okay. All it wants us to do is find the sine, cosine, and the tangent. They give us the three sides. We have to figure it out based on the reference angle. Okay. All right, so here's my reference angle. I'm going to start finding the sine of theta, the cosine of theta, and the tangent of theta. All right. What I will typically do is I will label the parts of my triangle on there, and that helps me get to the sine, cosine, and tangent really fast. So when we're across from the 90 degrees or the right angle, what part of the triangle is that? Hypotenuse. Okay, and all I did is draw a little h there. Okay. If I am across from my reference angle, what do we call that one? That's your opposite. And then the leftover has to be adjacent. Okay. Okay, so all I'm going to look at now is the sine. For those of you that had Rondo or your other geometry teachers, did they give you this? Sokotoa? Okay, that helps too. Okay, because it also tells you sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. I took my sine down this year. I don't know why, but I usually have a sign up. All right, I'll try to print it again, put it back up for you. Okay. All right, so my sine says it's the opposite over the hypotenuse. So what number's on my opposite? 3. What number's on my hypotenuse? 5. That's it. That's all there is to it. Writing down that ratio. Okay. All right, cosine says that it's the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So what's on my adjacent? 4 over 5. Perfect. All right, tangent says it's the opposite over the adjacent. So what's on the opposite? 3. What's on the adjacent? 4. Okay. I want you to look at number 2. All I want you to do with number 2, notice your reference angles up here, is just label the parts of the triangle. We're not doing sine, cosine, or tangent yet. Just label the parts. I want to make sure you got that right. Start with the cross from the 90. Okay. Which number is on the hypotenuse? 13. Good. What number is on the opposite? 12. Good. And then the adjacent has to be 5. Okay. Now I want you to find the 3 ratios. So now find your sine, your cosine, and your tangent. Everybody try it. Okay. I need to see right now. Okay. All right, check it with somebody at your table, please. Okay, go ahead. Okay, let's check it out. So for the sine, what did we write down? 12 over 13, our opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, what about for cosine? 5 over 13, adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, what about for tangent? 12 over 5, our opposite of our adjacent. And you guys, leave it improper. Do not reduce it to any kind of mixed numbers. Okay? All right, that's where we're going to stop on that today. All right, we will work on it again tomorrow. Okay?